$68.7 billion, again, $95 a share. And we're talking about adding to the Microsoft property Warcraft, Call of Duty.
Yeah, this essentially makes Microsoft an even larger player, just below Sony and Tencent as far as revenue.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy caught in a landslide? No escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the sky or ceiling and see. Hello and welcome. Allow myself to introduce myself. I am the handsome king Nerdy Bear. An article from Yahoo Finance that brings up some interesting things that are worth noting. Article written by Alexis Keenan. Microsoft's bid for Activision Blizzard comes with two big legal hurdles. Microsoft's largest ever acquisition, a pending $68.7 billion all-cash purchase of gaming giant Activision Blizzard, comes with distinct and potentially significant legal hurdles. For one, Microsoft will need to satisfy U.S. and global antitrust regulators that its ensuing deal won't harm competition. What's more, Microsoft will have to manage probes and lawsuits beleaguering Activision Blizzard over alleged harassment and discrimination against female staff. I have no idea if I can even say that one word, but, want to be cautious on this algorithm. Continuing on, antitrust experts say the deal is vertical rather than horizontal. Structure puts it in a category that tends to raise fewer concerns for regulators that makes challenges more difficult. Generally, horizontal deals combine companies in the same industry. Vertical deals involve two more distinct industries. However, experts caution that aspects of $68.7 billion, Dr. Evil billion, all-cash tie-up, which Microsoft says will make it the world's third largest company by revenue, could still pose sticking points. It used to be controversial to say vertical mergers can be anti-competitive because you're not eliminating any head-to-head competition. Vanderbilt University Law School professor Rebecca Haw-Ellensworth tells Yahoo Finance. But now we're starting to realize just how much you can unfairly disadvantage horizontal competitors if you get access to an input that they need. The Xbox factor. In Microsoft's case, Ellensworth and others say its ownership of gaming console Xbox, combined with gaming content from Activision Blizzard, could catch regulators' attention. John Spetta, a professor from Northwestern University, Brixter, I'm not even sure if I pronounced that, forgive me, School of Law and counsel at Irmer Stahl, says though the transaction doesn't raise significant red flags, the tie-up makes the eventual company very different from other gaming companies. Already, you're seeing concerns about whether Microsoft would take Activision Blizzard content and make it exclusive to Xbox. SEPTA says that move would increase the likelihood that regulators would sue to block the deal or else ask Microsoft to limit the extent of content exclusivity, SEPTA says. Regulators will also likely examine mobile gaming, console gaming markets separately and possibly draw down on how the transaction impacts competition in specific genres, such as shooter or sandbox games, according to Janelle Wrigley, Director of Antitrust at Thomson Reuters Practical Law. They may also examine the transaction's broader impact on emerging markets like the metaverse, a still nascent technology aiming to support parallel lives over virtual reality. Once regulators decide on relevant markets, they'll review Microsoft's leverage within them, asking whether its new position will harm consumers. There is nothing wrong with exclusivity by itself. Wrigley says of a scenario where Microsoft makes certain games exclusive to Xbox. The question is whether gaining that control over Activision's games would give Microsoft the ability to raise prices or otherwise harm consumers, because gamers would be unwilling or unable to switch away. If regulators do identify antitrust issues with the deal, they could propose that certain assets be spun off, or that certain content remain non-exclusive rather than filing a lawsuit. Still, Wrigley said, "I think neither Microsoft nor the antitrust agencies would find that kind of outcome palatable, which is why I think it could end up in court." Microsoft back in big tech antitrust conversation. Even if the deal's vertical nature dispels concerns over competition, lawyers say Microsoft should expect regulators to scrutinize the purchase due to recent focus on big tech's market dominance. Moreover, the Justice Department and the Federal Trade Commission on Tuesday announced their intention to revise merger guidelines. Though Microsoft has evaded the heavy antitrust scrutiny that has targeted its big tech peers since the U.S. Justice Department challenged its dominance in personal computing operating systems in 1998, the lawsuit is not so distant reminder that still among the tech giants, people talk about the Big Four. Big Four: Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon. Well, really, there's Microsoft, Ellen Worth says. Really, it's the Big Five, Speta adds. Some people think that they belong in this back in the conversation. Ultimately, Wrigley believes the deal will likely go through in the U.S. despite a potential court battle or a long investigation that experts say could take anywhere from 6 months to a year and a half. International regulators, including European authorities, could pose a tougher challenge. I find it unlikely that the European Union would just rubber stamp the deal, Yale Law School lecturer Nicholas Grudenberger says of its antitrust regulator, the European Commission. Activision's harassment, discrimination claims, harassment and discrimination actions pending against Activision Blizzard add another layer of legal complexity for Microsoft. In August, California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing sued Activision, claiming female employees were subjected to harassment and unequal pay. The agency also contested a ruling from the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission that blocked it from intervening in its $18 million settlement with the company. Shareholders followed with their own suit, claiming Activision failed to inform investors about the agency's probe. Later in November, the Wall Street Journal reported that longtime Bobby Kotick, not sure if that's how you pronounce that, but whatever, Kotick knew of the harassment and grape claims at the company, but failed to report some of them to the board. One allegation reportedly settled out of court, also without the board's knowledge. Speta says the actions that remain intact at the time of Microsoft's acquisition could become Microsoft's responsibility to manage. Though if Activision Blizzard becomes a wholly owned subsidiary of Microsoft, liabilities would be contained within the subsidiary company. The other thing that we don't know is to what extent Activision has relevant insurance policies or indemnity agreements which would cover any liabilities to extent those liabilities are reduced to money judgments at some point in the future, Speta says. Microsoft did not respond to Yahoo Finance's request for comment to clarify whether it will assume Activision's harassment and discrimination liabilities. Asked about whether Microsoft would assume its liabilities, Activision Blizzard provided the following statement: until transaction close, which we anticipate to be in Microsoft's fiscal year ending in June of 2023, it remains business as usual and both companies will continue to operate independently. Great article, Alexis Keenan. So here are my concerns and commentary on those. So, the pro to this is that while it will create a greater savings of available game titles when you have the Game Pass, the con to this is I'd be cautious of any overpriced in-game microtransactions sneaking up on you like the inflated American dollar in the near future. Hopefully that won't happen, but I'd pay close attention to that. This could also alienate or segregate, whatever synonym that you want to use. It could really bring a lot of peer pressure. No pressure at all. Yeah, go ahead and sign up for that Game Pass. You know you want it. You want to play these lovely games. Yeah, you do. Anyway, without sounding super creepy about that, if you don't have the Game Pass, then you may have to pay for the full price of that game that you want to play. Now, if you're willing to just only play that game because that's the only game you're interested in, great. Thumbs up. And by the way, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Like, subscribe, share, ring the bell very well. Really alienate those who do not have Game Pass to really sign up for that stuff. So you can play all these available games. Unless you just don't care about Game Pass, you're willing to pay the full price of that game because that's the only game you care about. That's fine. That's great. But I'd be very cautious of those microtransactions. So, for those who are utterly concerned about anything, let's be concerned about the microtransaction. Nothing is truly free. It all comes at some kind of price, one way or another. Now, one part of the article that I really want to point out is the Xbox factor, especially the parts where the whole transaction of this buyout would impact the competition of specific genres, such as, something like Call of Duty, especially Activision has really had a great business relationship with Sony. Any kind of exclusive for Call of Duty, it tends to favor Sony, the PlayStation. So, while I've seen some tweets from Phil Spector, the whole integrity of maintaining those partnerships, hopefully they don't do a Darth Vader and just, I'm altering the deal, pray I don't alter it any further. So, we gotta worry about the inflation of microtransactions that could come at the price of having the game for free for Game Pass. So I would really pay close attention to that. And then if you are on the side of PlayStation, I would actually have some concern that they could pull a Darth Vader. If you are part of the PC master race, I guess that's not really a problem for you. Or maybe you care a little, maybe you don't care. Either way, you should know about these things. Until next time, same Handsome King content, same Nerdy Bear commentary. I am your Nerdy Bear. That is what I am.
And, the gaming industry is, it's not like other industries. People sour on companies very quickly and then turn around and stop buying their games. So, if that happens with Microsoft and Activision Blizzard, it could be very problematic for them.